The Eisenhower Dollar united Normandy's beaches with the Sea of Tranquility. This coin, honoring an underrated president who spearheaded D-Day and the space race, flopped in America's pockets. Was it his bald head? Why did the mint ditch constitutional silver for a huge Clad dollar? I'm Tom, and today on the History of Money, I'll debunk myths, link Ike to Apollo 11, and share my collection story. America's dollar coin was long a symbol of value, minted in constitutional silver. The peace dollar, introduced in 1921 to celebrate the end of World War I, was 90% silver and embodied post-war prosperity. The Pittman Act of 1918 mandated melting millions of silver dollars and replacing them with new constitutional silver, fueling peace dollar production from 1921 to 1928. By 1928, supply had waned, and the Pittman silver supply was exhausted, halting minting. The Silver Purchase Act of 1934 briefly revived production in 1934 to 1935 to stabilize silver prices during the Great Depression, with prices set at 64.64 cents per ounce in 1933, amended to 71.11 cents in April 1935 and 77.57 cents later that month. But by late 1935, production stopped permanently. No more silver dollars for circulation until 1971, surviving mainly in Las Vegas casinos where silver dollars were favored over costly private tokens. Economic pressures changed everything. In the 1960s, soaring silver prices, driven by industrial demand, inflation, and global shortages, sparked widespread hoarding of constitutional silver coins. Gresham's law took hold. Bad Clad coins drove out good silver ones, as their bullion value exceeded face value. The Coinage Act of 1965, signed by President Johnson on July 23rd, tackled this crisis by eliminating silver from dimes and quarters, replacing them with copper-nickel clad, and reducing half dollars to 40% silver from 1965 to 1970 to conserve supplies and curb hoarding. This marked the shift to fiat currency, untethered from precious metals. In 1971, President Nixon ended the dollar's link to gold, accelerating the transition. Paper dollars and emerging credit cards like MasterCard in 1966 and Visa in 1976 made bulky coins obsolete for daily use. By the 1970s, checks dominated non-cash payments, about 80% of transactions like bills or retail buys, while credit cards eroded cash use. Cash, including coins, fell from about 40% of transactions in 1974 to just 11 to 14% in-store purchases today. Silver dollars, once held in bank vaults to back paper certificates, became obsolete as reserves after the 1965 Act ended silver backing. The General Services Administration's sales of millions of Morgan dollars starting in 1972 turned constitutional silver into private investments, as collectors and investors saw it as an inflation hedge in a fiat world. The Eisenhower Dollar, with its Clad circulation strikes, was an anachronism, too bulky for a society embracing electronic payments and paper dollars. This transition redefined the dollar coin, from a store of constitutional silver to a fiat token shaped by inflation, hoarding, and cost-effective minting. The obverse features Dwight D. Eisenhower, or Ike, designed by Chief Engraver Frank Gasparo. The five-star general and supreme commander of the Allied Expeditionary Forces in World War II, Eisenhower orchestrated the D-Day invasion on June 6, 1944. Over 156,000 troops landed in Normandy, a high-stakes operation that pivoted the war toward Allied victory. Eisenhower's leadership inspired trust. His casual military jacket even became known as the Ike Jacket. Elected president in 1952 and re-elected in 1956, he presided over post-war prosperity, building the interstate highway system, and advancing civil rights through desegregation. As president, he launched the space race in 1957 after Sputnik's shock, laying the groundwork for Apollo 11's triumph. In his 1961 farewell address, he coined military-industrial complex, warning of perpetual war's risks, a prescient insight still relevant today. Gasparo's portrait captures Eisenhower's resolute gaze, symbolizing traditional American leadership. As a coin honoree, Ike joined presidents like Washington and Kennedy, but in an era when coins were losing their metallic value. The reverse, also by Frank Gasparo, copies the Apollo 11 mission patch, an eagle landing on the moon with an olive branch. Right there. Launched on July 16, 1969, Apollo 11 achieved humanity's first moon landing. Neil Armstrong declared, "One small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind." Buzz Aldrin described the moon's stark beauty as magnificent desolation, and Michael Collins played a vital role piloting the command module Columbia to retrieve the lunar lander. The astronauts insisted on the olive branch for peace, as Apollo was a public program shared globally. Gasparo adapted it faithfully. The eagle, named after the lunar module Eagle, clutches no arrows, emphasizing exploration over defense. The tiny Earth in the background evokes the Apollo 8 Earthrise photo, symbolizing our planet's fragility. The Eisenhower series has diverse issues. Circulation strikes, or business strikes, were copper-nickel clad, minted in Philadelphia and Denver. These were for everyday use, but rarely circulated due to their size. Collector versions were 40% silver clad, uncirculated blue Ikes in blue envelopes, and proof brown Ikes, like this one, in brown boxes. Struck only in San Francisco from 1971 to 1976, they contain about 0.316 troy ounces of silver. Proofs have mirrored fields and frosted devices, while uncirculated are satin-like. This 40% composition mirrored the reduced silver Kennedy halves from 65 to 70, a holdover from the Coinage Act of 1965's efforts to stretch silver supplies. For the 1976 Bicentennial, all dollars were dual-dated 1776-1976. The reverse, by Dennis R. Williams, a student of Columbus College of Art and Design, shows the Liberty Bell over the moon, linking independence to space exploration. The two varieties, Type 1, thick letters from early 1975 minting, are scarcer, and Type 2, thinner letters, are more common. Bicentennials came in clad circulation, 40% silver uncirculated, and proofs, often in 3-coin sets with quarters and halves. Notably, the 1976 Bicentennial 3-piece silver proof set included a 40% silver quarter, the only one ever minted, alongside the 40% silver half and dollar. These distinctions make collecting engaging: clad for affordability, silver for value, and proofs for beauty. Despite over 640 million Eisenhower dollars minted, rare varieties make this series a collector's treasure. In 1972, Philadelphia produced 3 distinct reverse designs, each varying in the Earth's depiction on the coin. Type 1 features low relief and flawed geography, making high-grade examples scarce. Type 2, struck with a proof die and only about 100,000 minted, is the rarest overall and a key date, with a Mint State 66 example fetching $10,500 at auction. Type 3 with accurate geography is the most common. Other rarities stand out for their low mintages. The 1973 S silver proof, with just over 1 million struck, is the scarcest of the collector brown Ikes. The 1973 Clad coins, limited to just 2 million in mint sets, are also highly sought after. The 1976 Bicentennial Type 1, with its thick lettering, is scarcer than Type 2, particularly in pristine condition. High-grade Clad business strikes are especially tough to find in Mint State 65 or better due to contact marks from circulation, making them conditional rarities. For example, a 1976 Type 2 in Mint State 67 Plus sold for $10,800. From PCGS data, high-grade coins are elusive, offering challenges like assembling a 23-coin circulation set of major varieties or a complete proof set. The Mint's technical hurdles with large clad coins led to modifications, creating errors and varieties that collectors prize. These rarities elevate the Ike from failure to numismatic treasure, especially as modern collectors appreciate its clad-era innovations. The Ike flopped in circulation, too bulky for Fiat times, but thrived in casinos and with collectors. A 1964 attempt to revive the peace dollar saw the Denver Mint strike 316,076 coins under new legislation, but amid the constitutional silver crisis, Congress reversed course. All were reportedly destroyed by melting in 1965, though rumors persist of survivors taken by Mint employees, illegal to own and subject to confiscation. 1964 also marked the last year of 90% silver coins for circulation, leading to the Coinage Act of 1965's reforms. In 1979, the smaller Susan B. Anthony dollar, Clad, quarter-like, also failed. The rise of electronic payments had permanently sealed the decline of coins. But credit and early debit cards began replacing cash for retail, reducing the need for coins to make change. By the 1980s, coin demand dropped as electronic transactions grew. The 1964 peace dollar's destruction showed silver's obsolescence, and the Ike's failure to circulate confirmed that dollar coins were relics, valued by collectors, not spenders. That is, until the American Silver Eagle revived the silver dollar as 99.9% pure bullion, not for spending but for investing. Its success filled the Mint's vision for a lasting silver dollar, succeeding where the Morgan, Peace, and Clad Eisenhower dollars fell short in a post-Fiat world. The Eisenhower dollar encapsulates America's Fiat transition, honoring Ike's legacy and Apollo's triumph, while paving the way for modern bullion. As a Gen X kid, I grew up with Eisenhower dollars. My dad would bring home a few when he goes to the bank, if the tellers had them, and give them to me, and it sparked my love for these coins. I've completed a Littleton folder of circulation strikes right here. There we go. And I have, of course, the 11 proof issues in this frame, including the Apollo 11 patch and a 40th anniversary medallion that contains metal that was flown to the moon. I do regret cracking open some of those brown Ike packages as a kid. I mean, that's probably something I wouldn't do now. But I mean, I still have this 72S silver proof in its original holder. And then I also found, where is it? Oh yeah, I also found this 71S silver proof in circulation. So yeah, you could say I like Ike.
Ike for president, Ike for president, Ike for president. You like Ike, I like Ike. Everybody likes Ike for president. Hang out the banner, beat the drum. We'll take Ike to Washington.
Thanks for sticking it out with me today. I'm going to end with a poem that I wrote about the Eisenhower dollar. A coin that bears the weight of dreams and war pays tribute to the heroes we adore. From Ike, who led through Europe's darkest night, to astronauts who wrought Apollo's flight. Of might that shapes the nation's path at will, his face still warns of powers hidden still. When Houston heard the Eagle's landed call, tranquility brought peace to hearts for all. In Nixon's reign, a king upon his throne, he shed our gold and left a copper clone. Though not embraced for daily give and take, it's prized by hands that keep its tail awake. Reflecting silver like the moon's calm glow, it whispers both of triumphs and of woe. This dollar rings out independence too, an ode to bravery, red, white, and blue. Thanks for watching The History of Money. Until next time, in God we trust. We know what these are all for. Tails.